Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you for appearing today. Last estimates, I raised a series of concerns regarding the banking code of practice, and Ms O'Rourke was very forthcoming in her answers, so thank you for that. At one point, you did say, Ms O'Rourke, you would update me if there was any progress on the negotiation for the new banking code. Could you provide an update now, please, in respect of these 4 matters? Is prudent and diligent banker still in there? It's a meaningless phrase.
Thank you. So, yes, we did have that discussion at the last hearing about the Code of Practice, and I'm happy to provide an update in relation to the discussions we've been having. Just to step back a moment, it is...
Those specific 4 points. Is prudent and diligent banker still in there?
I think you're... Prior to that particular question, you said, what's the state of play? And the state of play is that there's not yet a final code that has been finalised by the ABA to put to us for approval. So the answer is that it's not yet determined whether or not that phrase, prudent and diligent, will or will not be in the final code. Can I give a little bit more detail?
Sure.
Which was that we have, it is in the existing code. In the draft code that was circulated by the ABA or published by the ABA last year, and in relation to which we've had a consultation process, there was a proposal to narrow the application of prudent and diligent just to very specific circumstances, and for other circumstances to rely on other legal provisions. So that has been something through the consultation process that we have had submissions in relation to, and it is something that we have been speaking to the ABA about. So, but the ABA is still considering its position, and there isn't a final outcome.
Is there a guarantee of face-to-face banking services?
So that is not in either the existing code nor the proposed code from the ABA. So, like I say, there is no final position in relation to what the final code will look like, but that's one that's not been proposed. Nor was it proposed nor was it particularly raised in the submissions that we've received.
Yeah, and this is not a comment aimed at you, Ms O'Rourke, but we're not interested so much in whether or not something was in there, will be in there.
Okay.
We're interested in just purely that's something we believe is necessary. Is there a guarantee of access to the King's currency, cash?
The current code does not have that, nor does the proposed code.
Is there a guarantee not to debank a customer for competitive or social reasons, like we don't agree with your politics?
That's not in the current code, nor is it proposed to be in the revised code.
Thank you. I believe you took on notice the debanking issue, but the response only answered other matters. Has ASIC considered the debanking issue? You know, it's a device by which the banks harm the business of their competitors and manipulate the markets to their financial advantage, as they have, for example, with cash in transit. This says misuse of market power to me. So has ASIC considered the debanking issue?
So ASIC has been part of discussions around the cash in transit issue that you referred to. So I'm not sure whether you've had an opportunity to speak to other agencies, including the RBA, Treasury or others involved on the government side, or indeed if you've had opportunities to speak to the ABA or others. We're not directly, we're more interested observers than participants in relation to cash in transit. We don't have any regulatory hooks or provisions that particularly go to the provision of cash or its transportation. So I think
but
if
what
your
about
question
debanking?
So similarly, ASIC doesn't have, there is no requirement to bank or to take steps in relation to debanking in relation to which we could take action.
Thank you. On the crypto scam, Senator Hume asked today some very fine questions. She asked about your testimony was that you were aware of this scam for quite some time, yet the scam companies Infinity, capital G, Top Market Cap, Iron Bits and Richmond Super were added to the scam list just yesterday. Why did it take so long to get those companies onto the scam list?
Senator Roberts, as I said in my answers to Senator Hume, when that information came into us, it was for the purposes of a continuing criminal investigation at that time. And at that time, in August 23, we didn't have the investor alert list up and running that we have now. So that commenced in November of 2023. We hadn't received any reports of misconduct or any indication that any of those entities that were referred to in the article that consumers were continuing to invest or lose money as a result of investments in those entities. However, following the media reporting, we went back and had a look at those entities, and I think we took a decision that 4 out of the 5, even though we had no information about continuing losses to investors, that we would put them on the investor alert list for completeness.
Thank you. ASIC went, this is on Mayfair 101, ASIC went after a company that appears to have been trading legally. Mayfair 101 were up to date with repayments to lenders and, as demonstrated over the last 3 years, had financial resources as they fought your action. ASIC considered Mayfair's advertising misrepresented their investment product and took immediate action to freeze the company's asset. By doing that, ASIC almost cost 500 Australian investors $200 million, but the company has survived. ASIC's actions have, however, caused a lot of damage to investors and the company for no good reason that we can see. One Nation, I must mention, and as I've previously stated, are one of those investors. This matter has been dragging on for 3 years and now ASIC are going for another round. What's the state of play now?
Senator, I gave quite a long answer to Senator Bragg earlier when you weren't in the room about the status of the
Okay, we'll leave it. I want to get on then. Thank you for that. Your actions were ostensibly to protect investors, yet the investors in Mayfair have not had access to their funds or a return on their investment since you started your action, despite the entity they invested in still being viable. Why are you hurting the people you profess to protect?
Well, Senator Roberts, as I said in my response to Senator Bragg early, ASIC acted quickly in relation to the Mayfair matters for the purposes of protecting future investors. The matter's been before the court. Mayfair has been found to have engaged in misleading conduct. The court has imposed a $30 million penalty on Mayfair, which I understand remains unpaid, and there are still several matters currently before the courts, and the courts are testing ASIC's claims and the defences to those claims. So that is an appropriate place for them to be determined now.